ama yenhwe ena de ye hu se imame Agradaa wayi nanim wahye waboni duku fita kama ene de onfa akatanimu bia enkata nanim walk is true anopay then ebekoso e wo court wo
menu ani ebekoso wo court he nyina ene se ene ena yede the final judgment of the court the high court appeal mama part penny nyina yede bebe wie abro so a non-cron ne find me gidi se no temu afọ no aba betina se na mama part obeka say July bosom ni de toso ne ensa afi etwemu na circuit court temu afọ Evelyn Asamoah sentencing to 15 years imprisonment after say 2 counts 1 charlatanic advertisement and defrauding by false pretense. Now after a full trial of about 3 years court finding him guilty. Now charlatanic advertisement you fine the sentencing it was a fine and defrauding by false pretense there the man 15 years and no and odi kan eba court stre say anka yama ni bill bill pending appeal now so court na che say there bill pending appeal dey on farmer no name on to so na on full appeal trial no enwie eno na yakwa ba ene enotemu afọ na hye say bibi ensi dia odi na temu beba eniema akese miensa na se nan na mama part ejina so ntia oko appeal no na edi kan o say circuit court na bra ye kan asem no ni videos bi a wadi si ya na so de ba court na prosecution ni so de omo de ba ye sa videos ni bi wo wa ya ma ne kwan say on kasa mfa ho anasa trial no ya ma na ample time and resources say on fa indi ni juma eni to hu ni say court no mfom so wo ho na to so mienu o say infinisia makomako dunum na ye de man no anu oden dodo anu ohye dodo eno ye beka we court kasem say the sentence was harsh eni no enti so emana na say yenkwahye the whole decision ebio de to so miensa mama party eni na lawyer for chere say ebra atemu no koso no na wadam nefua no makomako aduanan mienu kese se court no consider all the days na odemu no nanso court no an consider enti sa 14 days na odemu no court no enyi amfa enfrim enti na ebio se court ni se sa 14 days ni kura 42 days na odemu no na se court ne hwe na so beti afirima nke so tichimba court no anye ni sa we enensempo makomako miensa na sem na ya mama part ejina so a odi aba court attorney general so ye enso edi omonsemo ba be chere say yampa ensem ni bia mama part lawyer ka titu ene enefua dodo a wode mu na emom attorney general chere say enye nefua aduanan mienu 42 na emom 32 days na ode mu na so court no an consider said na omo ka no eninti ena me no ka say ene court no edi na temu beba as to say mama part 15 years na ye de man no obi be ka say a reasonable probable enam ne kwan so ana say ensese anka ye man sa 15 years nti court ni betimi ate so edi amount me no ka say anope mama part for the first time we yin anim eno apart from ni duku a na ebo no eno so obi anhwe nanim se court te so man na ye ka say onko fia eyo no a se court anti so ama no ka say odibi kra ka ho ama na eyo no a se court ka say wakwahye the whole decision eyo no a ene mama part yin anim me bedu ye not court them very calm on kasayo otihodi eneni kwansi ama medru ye ate yade a ye de mama part aba bedru otihodi said ye no na me mo kasa me che na yade a o she ne black skirt and o she ne white topper ene odi aba betenti me nua otimofo na ba ma me fancy a na ye morem ne konkohwe abroso a minim say no do be born de na ne besi bia no ebenya sinte ne ye watwe yem se mama part as to say court no ebeka say wakwashe the whole decision of the circuit court and now say watibi e de free so no ye betinka
okay ama ene me yenya wo na wura court dem na de besi bia no wasame aso atibi
ene amati na ye nisa
ama brakon ampofo na wote ne nka efree ama saman court watonkra
fiction but reduce the sentence. Hansen Ajiman is our court correspondent. Hansen, good morning and thank you so much. Run us through exactly what transpired in courts today. Thank you for joining us. Please tell us what transpired in court today and ruling that reduces the sentence from 15 years to 12 months and when it's expected to take effect. Well, we'll work the lines to get Hansen, but a brief background is that Nana Agradaa was accused of orchestrating a scheme to defraud her church attendees during an all-night service and disseminating deceptive videos on social media. She had pleaded not guilty to all charges. The deceptive scheme, according to the prosecution's case, was that then Nana Agradaa advertised on Today TV and other social media platforms on October 5, 2022, that she would be organizing an all-night service on October 7, 2022. During this service, she promised to share 300 million or 300,000 Ghana cedis with participants who needed money for business or rent, even displaying bundles of cash in her advertisements to entice the public. Now, investigations reveal that many people drawn by these false representations traveled from various locations to attend the service. During the all-night service, Nana Agradaa directed the congregation to form groups, each of 20 members, and contribute various sums of money. Example, 1,000 Ghana cedis per person to receive 50,000 Ghana cedis to share. These complainants acting on these promises parted with their money. However, after collecting the funds, Nana Agradaa failed to deliver on her promises, leaving the attendees stranded. She allegedly told them the money collected was for a Kofi and Amma collection, a statement that angered the congregation. Well, she has appealed this 15-year jail sentence with hard labor, and today the appellate court has upheld her application for a review, and so the prison sentence has been reduced from 15 years to 12 calendar months. Hansen Ajiman, thank you so much. You have been in the court since morning. You've sat through the court hearing. Bring us up to speed to exactly what transpired in court earlier.
So the judge today delivered his judgment on the appeal brought to the High Court in Amasaman by Patricia Sedu, also known as Nana Agradaa. The summary of the judgment is that the 15-year sentence she was remitted to at the Circuit Court in Accra has been reduced to 12 calendar months. And this is because the judge, after assessing the records of appeal and arguments raised by lawyers for Nana Agradaa, came to the conclusion that the sentence was harsh and excessive, and as a result of that, reduced it from 15 years to 12 months. It must be stated that on the substantive conviction, that is the arguments Nana Agradaa that she was not that she was indeed guilty of offenses that the prosecution was able to deliver on these, was able to prove their case, and Nana Agradaa herself is making her way to the prison vehicle, as you can see in the shot, in her white shirt and black skirt. And so a lot of bloggers here, I must say, let's see if you can speak to lawyers on record on this. Itself was affirmed. The sentence has been reduced to 12 calendar months. This should be good news for your side, isn't it?
Exactly so. It is not something that we prayed for. Okay. Our prayer was for the conviction to be set aside, but in the wisdom of the courts, he has upheld the conviction and rather reduced the sentencing from 15 years to 1 year. I think it's a good news. And already he spent about 7 months in imprisonment, so I'm sure she'll be out very soon.
Certainly. So a lot of who has followed this, the conviction was on 3rd July, if I'm not wrong.
That's correct.
If I'm not wrong, and so that means that some 5 months more to go for her, I believe.
There's a calculation to that, so let's keep our calm. Definitely she'll come out.
Now we know that at the court below, she was fined 25 penalty unit for the charlatanic advertisement. Has that been paid already?
No, that one, it was 25 penalty units in default of 1 month imprisonment. She has already served that jail term.
Because now we know that the judge also gave her 200 penalty unit for the charges of defrauding by force pretense. What is your reaction to that?
That one will be paid immediately before we leave court.
We also told that she's supposed to the monies that were proved to have been collected, 500 cedis each of 2 complainants, making 1,000 cedis by February 24. What have you heard from her or her
That
husband?
is where the wisdom of the judge comes in. A person is found guilty of having defrauded another person of the sum of 1,000 Ghana cedis and impose an imprisonment term of 15 years. It's clearly ridiculous. So that has been set aside, and the 1,000 cedis is not something that cannot be paid. Indeed, it will be paid today before we leave here.
Do you know the complainant?
They will be paid to the registry of the court, and we have a way of getting them to come to court for it.
For a lot of people who have followed this, who have been loyal persons who believe in the evangelist Patricia Siedua, what will the legal team say to them for the support all this while?
It has been a very stressful past few months, but we are in us believing in our case and staying true to us. From day one, we have maintained that the 15-year jail term was too excessive, and today the court has spoken. And that is it. The law is what it is.
What will you say to someone who says that even after everything, though it has been reduced, even if she finished serving it, she remain an ex-convict? How would that have on her own calling as a minister of the Lord?
There are so many. If you read the Bible, there are several of them that went into jail. But eventually, that doesn't change the calling on them. So he is not the first person to be jailed. We have so many prominent figures in Ghana and even outside Ghana who were once at a point in their lives were jailed. So jail, the prison is for all of us. So the lessons that we draw from it is what is important. Because today, it is Mama Pat. Tomorrow, if you don't order your steps well, if you don't fortify your mind and you continuously renew your mind, you may also end there. The prison gate is not going to be closed today. It is for all of us. So it's the lessons that we learn from it. That is the most important thing.
Finally, from me, one of your grounds of appeal, obviously on the error of law, was the patent bias you said that the judge below had against the client and even the legal team. The appellate judge says that was not on the record of appeal.
Okay, so getting to the tail end of the judgment, if you listen to my lord carefully, he said that there were manifest inconsistencies in the testimonies of both prosecution and defense. But whereas the trial judge only focused on the inconsistencies in the case of the defense, she was completely silent on the inconsistencies in the case of prosecution. The judge said that. So it means to some extent she finds some merit in the accusations we are making. But as the judge said, if you appear before a judge and he have this banter with you, it won't go into the record. So though we are not oblivious of what happens in court, but some of these allegations become very difficult to prove. But in our submissions, we pointed to instances where lawyers were made to cross-examine the prosecution witness for about 3 hours. And that is a clear example. If a lawyer is required to stand on his feet to do a marathon cross-examination, it is one of the things. But the judge has spoken. I believe that's what it is.
You've dealt with the evangelist for quite some time now. Will you say that post the judgment of the court, she was in a happy mood?
Of course. You have been slapped with 15-year jail term. Our prayer was for the entire conviction of the court. He said, no, I will uphold the conviction. But I don't see 15-year jail term in respect of 100 Ghana cedis defrauding, to be fair. And 14 years of it has been slashed. Won't you celebrate? Won't you be happy for it? So I think it's a good thing.
Thank you very
It's
much.
not what we entirely wish for, but it's a positive thing.
Thank you very much. Can I help us with your full name?
I'm Richard Asaribafo.
Thank you very much. So that is counsel for Nana Agradaa, obviously excited about the development today. She was sentenced at the Circuit Court in Accra to 15 years in hard labor for defrauding by false pretense. She came to the High Court in Amasaman appealing it on grounds such as the fact that the conviction was not supported by the evidence on record and the fact that there was error of law and also that the sentence was harsh and excessive. The judge, in considering the record of appeal, indicated that indeed she did commit the offense of charlatanic advertisement, which is the first offense that she was charged with, and as a result of that, the judge affirmed that particular conviction of charlatanic advertisement. But the judge observed the text of the act that brought about this offense. That text restricts to advertisement in newspapers and also in subtle forms of advertisement, and there's no mention of TV or radio. And so the judge indicated that he had to align the actions of Nana Agradaa under subtle forms of advertisement to get her guilty or affirm the guilty conviction from the High Court, from the Circuit Court in Accra. On the offense of defrauding by false pretense, the judge came to the conclusion that indeed she did make a false representation, and this false representation was relied on by some persons who parted away with monies they owed to her, and she did not redeem her promise to them of giving them certain amount of money. And so on defrauding by false pretense, the judge came to the conclusion that indeed she was appropriately found guilty for the offense of defrauding by false pretense. What has, in one way or the other, come to the salvation of Nana Agradaa is the sentence that was placed on her by the Circuit Court. The argument the appeal court makes is that if you look at the evidence of record of all the monies that they talk about, it was only 1,000 Ghana cedis that was able to be proved. This 1,000 Ghana cedis was 500 cedis. The first prosecution witness, who was the first complainant, said he made to her, and another 500 cedis by the second prosecution witness. As a result of this, the judge indicated that if you look at the offense of defrauding by false pretense, it has no minimum sentence, but has a maximum of 25 sentence, and felt that the trial judge ought to have taken notice of the fact that it was 1,000 cedis that was in consideration. Even though the judge explained that the fact that 1,000 cedis was the one in contention doesn't necessarily mean that she didn't commit the offense, or does not mean that the people who lost the 1,000 cedis did not lose something valuable. He gave a proverb in Twi which suggested that one thing that looks as a rag to you must look as a good to another person. However, taking cue from cases like the Republic versus Salome, he says that the court ought to look at the circumstances, the kind of crime that has been committed, and in his respective view, a crime of 1,000 cedis should not merit a 15-year jail term, indicating that a crime of 1,000 cedis defrauding by false pretense and giving the person 15-year jail term means that for every 100 cedis, you are given about 1.5 years for that amount of money. And it is reason the judge has reduced the sentence to 12 months, 12 calendar months. She's already spent 7 months in jail, and she has some 5 months to go if we are supposed to go by the natural calendar months. However, the prison system has its way of calculating these months, and perhaps the 12 calendar months might not be as we will calculate it in our regular day-to-day activities. She's also been asked to pay 200 penalty units to the court for the offense of defrauding by false pretense, and she's also supposed to refund the 1,000 Ghana cedis to the two other persons. Her lawyer has indicated to us that 1,000 Ghana cedis will indeed be paid today, but the court gave her a February 24, 2026 deadline to make that payment. So the news here is that Nana Agradaa has been able to get the court to reduce her sentence from 15 years to 12 calendar months, because the 15-year sentence was harsh and excessive, and not because she did not commit the offense. Indeed, the court affirmed the conviction and said that she did commit the offense, but the sentence was harsh. And that's the husband of Nana Agradaa. Pray every day. I must believe that this is an exciting day.
Pray every day, pray every day.
Well, it looks like he won't speak to us.
Asama na MM kan say say na oni gist and say na oni gist kan say we dey enje we dey ka bibi chira Ghana for eni agi chen wiase ni panyina.
So that is the husband of Patricia Silva. He has a shirt where there are inscriptions on it that we should pray every day. Obviously excited, just a simple message for people to pray every day. To him, he's excited more than anybody at all in the world. So consistently he gets to raise his shirt, and he has another shirt beneath it with inscriptions of pray every day. A number of journalists and bloggers here, I must say, obviously the case is one of interest to a number of people. He's quite finding it difficult getting into his vehicle, but many people want to get from him his reaction to the decision of the court. He's a bit adamant, showing the shirt with the inscriptions, pray every day. Some bit of excitement, obviously. If your wife has been jailed for 15 years and that has been reduced to 12 months, you obviously will be excited by this. She's already spent 7 months in it, and technically she is not going to spend more than 5 months in prison. Even though I must state that the 200 penalty unit fine for the offense of defrauding by false pretense, we're told that if she does not pay the 200 penalty unit, then she risks staying in jail for another 1 year. But her lawyers have indicated to us that these monies are monies that she will pay extensively, essentially meaning that her family, her husband, will try and find money to pay. And so that's a story from the Amasaman court, the High Court in Amasaman, I must say. The 15-year jail sentence of Patricia Siedua, also known as Nana Agradaa, has been reduced to 12 months in prison. The other orders by the court is that she has to refund the 1,000 cedis as was established at the court below to the complainant. We are told that they will be paid to the registry today. She's also to pay some 200 penalty unit to the court, and in default spend 1 year in jail. All offenses, all sentences, we are told, are to run concurrently. Now, the background to this story, as you would remember, is that in 2022, on Today TV, which we are made to believe belongs to Nana Agradaa, she did an advertisement where she said she was going to spend about 300,000 Ghana cedis on the day of her birthday, and that she was having an all-night service, and those who were interested should come to her all-night service. She made that advertisement particularly to persons, she says, were the needy and also those who needed money to start their own businesses. On the day of the all-night, as the facts on the record of appeal shows, a lot of people visited her church, where she indicated that they should group themselves into a group of 20, with various groups paying different amounts of money, ranging from 0 Ghana cedis to 1,000 Ghana cedis. And depending on the kind of group you fall, there was a promise to make certain amount of money. So, for instance, for those who were paying 1,000 Ghana cedis, they were promised 50,000 Ghana cedis. Those who were paying 900 Ghana cedis, they were promised 40,000 Ghana cedis for the entire group. We are told by prosecution that after these monies had been collected, for which the complainants in this case, who acted as two prosecution witnesses, they were part of a group that paid 500 cedis each. We are told that later, some persons who were her collaborators paid 2,000 Ghana cedis each to take a chit that she had given to the various groups, which will be a means of collecting the monies that had been promised. And lights then went off, and she went out of the court, went out of her church. We also told that some persons who, when the church members sought to pursue her, some persons who were described as thugs prevented her. Then the complaints were made to the police, investigations were held. At the court below, 4 persons came in to testify. The 2 witnesses, a cybersecurity expert, as well as the investigator on the case. She was then found guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison with hard labor. But today, that sentence of 15 years in hard labor has been reduced to 12 months, according to the judge who presided over the case here at the High Court in Amasaman.
Very well, Hansen, thank you so much. Hansen Ajiman there is my colleague reporting from the court, bringing us up to speed regarding that review of the sentencing of Patricia R.E.L.E.A.S.E.D. And viewers, please forgive me, pardon me. Earlier, I described her as Patricia Appiagyei. She is Patricia R.E.L.E.A.S.E.D, also known as Nana Agradaa. Today, the court above has ruled, and although affirming or upholding the conviction and, of course, the crime committed, the custodial sentencing has been reduced from 15 years to 12 calendar months. That is the story from the courts this morning. Many thanks for your time. Thank you for joining us here on Channel 1 Television, staying with us all the way through Breakfast Daily, which started from 7 a.m. up until 11 a.m. I am Nana Tufo Boateng. I did this with Chris Carter. And as always, keep watching Channel 1 TV.